Hello, nice to have your presence on this Town Hall Academy Summit as we explore the biggest community outreach event in the U.S., sponsored by independent automotive service professionals. And I'm in San Antonio for CarFest. And here's a taste.
You know, what you're doing on these cars, and they say, well, how much is it costing these people? It's like, it doesn't cost them anything. We're donating our time and services. We're doing it for free. And they just look dumbfounded. And I'm going to tell you what, Carm, the first year we did this, it chokes me up just talking about it, man. When that lady rode a bus down here and won a free car.
And won a car.
That's life-changing.
Welcome, automotive aftermarketers, to a Remarkable Results Radio Town Hall Academy. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results.
Hey, Carm Capriato here, and thanking Jasper Engines and Transmissions for their support of the Academy. Hey, do you need another reason to choose Jasper? Well, how about their commitment to continuous improvement? Their investment in research and development, product updates, and remanufacturing processes means Jasper provides you the perfect product. Visit jasperengines.com. Hey, remember why you're engaged with the Aftermarket's premier podcast? Well, here's one reason. We are providing genuine value for your time spent. No fluff inside these important stories. Now, every time the mic is turned on, I think of your valuable time and your need to learn new things so you maintain your learning curve. Hey, my guests' bios, links to their previous episodes, and their key talking points are found at remarkableresults.biz/A114. Also, a link to the CarFest website can be found there. CarFest is an event unlike any others in the U.S. that reach out and bring the independent service provider together with the community. Now here's a challenge to you. All the while you're listening, think how you can start on a small scale to do more for your community. CarFest is appropriately subtitled Unity in the Community. I first want to congratulate every North American service provider for all that you do in your community. There are many of you that support veterans, battered women, and many outreach non-for-profits with your kindness. CarFest takes it to a whole new level. This is a higher calling of community that I've ever seen. With me is CarFest founder Mark Colaw from Seymours Garage, and joining us is Gary Pundt from Alamo Heights Garage and Louie Sirianni from Sirianni Automotive. Hey, they do share with you the events that are going on with this 2-day free event. Now, they're giving away 13 vehicles, providing funds to area post-secondary education, and donating automotive repair for 25 vehicle owners that need safe and reliable transportation. Coordinating the logistics of this event is a monumental task, and it's grown into utilizing 200,000 square feet of space. I said 200,000 square feet of space. Get some of the details and listen to Mark, Gary, and Louie share their passion for this event that has provided over $1 million in service vehicles and donations within their San Antonio community in the last 3 years. Now, prepare to be amazed. I'm at CarFest in San Antonio. Glad to have you here, and welcome again to the Automotive Aftermarket Summit for Business Professionals, the place where we talk the business of the automotive aftermarket. I got one hell of an invite to come down here from Mark Colaw, who you'll see. Mark, put your hand up in the frame. Here. There's Mark, and I'm at CarFest. The title of our show here is Taking Community Involvement to the Next Level. And I'm about ready to say and go on total record that says there's nothing in the United States that is community than this event. And we're going to do the best we can to share with you what is going on here and why it is a 2-day event and why there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars given to the community in many different forms and formats, be it education, be it repairs, or be it actual vehicles. So who else is with me? Mark Colaw. Mark Colaw from Seymours Garage and the founder of CarFest. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
He's going to tell us a ton that you're going to need to know about CarFest and what's going on here. Gary Pundt, Alamo Heights Garage, second-generation owner.
Yes.
Nice to have you, Gary.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And appreciate it. And Louie Sirianni from Sirianni Automotive.
I'm here. Good morning.
Hey, Louie. Nice to have you here. In fact, Louie has a radio show here on automotive repair.
I do. A call-in question and answer show every Saturday from 11 to 1.
How cool is that? One of the things I need to ask you, Mark, what's the square footage of the buildings that you're using? Because I think I want to give the audience an idea of how big this is.
The main building's 200,000 square feet.
And you're using it all?
We're using it all, but we have other buildings that we're using as well.
200. All right. So just to start with, it's 200,000. I had a tour, Gary. You were kind enough to take me into the pit, and I'm not sure it's the proper word for what the pit is, but I want all service professionals to understand that this 2-day event that includes things for kids and barbecue cook-offs and Mark, you're going to explain that later. The big piece of this, in my mind, is the repairing of the cars. These 25, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's 25 other nonprofits.
25 other nonprofits.
We're supporting their end users of their programs.
And you basically reach out to them and says, hey, give me your tired, your poor, people that have an unsafe car. It's not reliable. As long as they have a job and they have insurance, am I right?
Yeah, as long as it's legally registered to them and they've got insurance and they must have a job because we want to keep them employed.
Right.
And it's much easier to keep someone employed than it is to lose them out of the chain and then get back. And so we're all in business, and what we're wanting to do is promote, commerce. And so we do that by keeping these people employed and helping other people's commerce.
So you've picked 25 of those. How many do you get?
50.
You get 50. Yeah. You guys as a team, as a community get together, you pick 25 cars, and they are repaired here over Saturday and Sunday in the pit, if you will. Yeah. 25 shops get represented that are all independents inside of the San Antonio automotive community. Am I right?
That is correct.
And adjacent.
And adjacent. Well, the metro. And as Gary was telling me, he has a vehicle that has so much that's going to go on. You could maybe take 6 hours to fix it, but you're going to stretch it over 2 days so that when the consumers walk in here, they're going to have a chance to see all the action that's going on and ask questions.
Yeah, they can walk right up to our bay, not into the actual work area, but close enough to where they stop and they'll ask questions and give us an opportunity to interact with them. And it's really kind of cool. I mean, when they see you, taking something apart and figuring out how it works, and they'll ask questions, and it's just an opportunity to.
You're working on a Jeep, and you told me that it needs a clutch.
Right.
How many people will have ever seen how a clutch gets repaired or fixed or put in?
Probably very few. I mean, like everybody around here, some of our customers tend to think because they changed oil in 1972 that they're a mechanic at some point, right. But there's so much more to being a technician. I don't even like to use the word mechanic anymore, but so it's cool to put that on showcase.
What else are you doing on that car besides the clutch?
Let's see. We're doing a clutch. We're doing a full tune-up. It needs a water pump, belts and hoses, front brakes and rotors. We got to repair a rear windshield wiper, fix some lights. I feel like I'm missing something, but
that's okay.
It's a big list. It's about $3,200 worth of service work.
Wow! And you're going to have a lift that it's going to be on.
Yep.
You're bringing all your tools from the shop.
Yep.
You're bringing one of your lead technicians to work with you.
I am, and I also have another shop that's pairing up with me, and he's going to help me. And then I've got a couple other guys, and we'll have a few students too. And the cool thing is, it gives us an opportunity to work with students in the real world. Outside of what they have in their class labs.
There was something that Gary said that I thought was really important. It's a side effect of this event, and it's you're working with, you said, your main technician, and who else?
Rick Schmidt from Foreign Specialist.
So there's two shops together, working together for this one car for this event.
Got it.
We've got 25 shops working together, actually now 26, really.
Yeah.
25 bays plus one with two. And that's not counting the other ones that are paired up. And we're creating this network, this community within our community of shops that can now call on each other for assistance and help and advice in whatever way.
Right.
That's a total side note, but it created this secondary atmosphere.
And kind of back onto that comment as well, it does create a situation where, you get to meet and get to know other shop owners on more of a personal level. And, there's so many cars on the road that I really don't, I don't consider Louie or Mark competitors. They're colleagues of mine. And I have no problem calling them and saying, hey man, this car's having a hard time with it. Have you ever seen that? And, there's at least 10 people that I would call my close friends who are shop owners that I have no problem with calling and communicating with.
And now we're expanding that group by 25.
Yeah.
This is huge.
It's a brotherhood.
Oh,
huge.
you're seeing it.
No.
These little connections get made throughout this whole event. And you start to see the branches that are formed off of it, and it's unbelievable how big this is for the community. Not only the exterior community of San Antonio and the surrounding areas, but so many communities, but our community, the shop owner community. It's really, really unbelievable.
It is huge, and we hear too often where people want to help each other. I don't want anything to do with, he's a competitor of mine down the road.
Don't deal with that guy. I can't believe you went there. That's a terrible shop or whatever.
Yeah. Isn't there enough business for everybody?
You bet.
There is.
You bet. And that's one thing that we promote all the time. We don't have enough people to fix the cars. We don't. So there is nobody is a competitor.
The whole unity in the community is the tagline for CarFest. What happened to me when I heard these guys talk about that brotherhood, if you will, of 25, and you all come to a single purpose here at the CarFest weekend. But that's not the last time you work together or talk, is it?
Not at all.
No, absolutely not.
Not at all.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And unity in the community brings the service professional and the community together. For the levels of education, I've walked this floor now. I got here last night. There is so much going on here. I'm going to try to take some videos tomorrow or do a live show tomorrow during the height of this whole thing to, if you will, bookend or tag team to what this episode is about. There's antique cars here. There's a hot rod car show. There's stuff for the kids going on.
Barbecue cook-off outside.
The barbecue.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, unity in the community.
Yeah.
Community, come have fun with us. Realize the value of this profession, because we're here about safety. We're here about reliability. Oh, by the way, we're going to do $100,000 worth of repairs for some needy people. And oh, by the way, we're also going to give away $100,000 worth of cars to people who come in. They drop their name in a hat. Mark, where'd you come up with this crazy idea?
I don't know.
It just came up. I mean, one day we were at a meeting and we had a brainstorm meeting. We had a development team in the beginning, and the development team consisted of 6 of us. Or 7 of us. And so we just had a development team meeting. We were going over things. We were strategizing. We worked 62, 64 weeks before we put the first event on, and met every Thursday except for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. And some of them wanted to meet New Year's Eve. That's how dedicated.
Why
they were.
not? I mean,
and so
we're just going to go out that night. Let's at least get something done during the day.
And so what came from that was just different ideas. And there's been lots of ideas. And there's ideas that are sitting in the boiler right now.
Yep.
And there's ideas that are sitting in the incubator. So you've got stuff that's already happening for next year. And we've already got stuff that's happening for 21. So we've got things that are in the pot for 20 and 21. We, as this community of guys and all these communities, our entire community are all about making this thing sustainable. We want it to grow, but we want it to have sustainability. And we've had some challenges like anybody would. So when we get this thing done and we're ready to launch it, we don't want anybody to think it was easy, but it's well worth it. And it wasn't that hard. It's one of those things that when you're outside the moment and you get past it, then your heart and your hands feel good about what they did.
Well, so well said. A vehicle is more than just transportation. It's what we depend on to move our most precious cargo, our families. As a service professional, you provide routine maintenance for your customer's vehicle, but what do you do if the engine, transmission, or differential fails? Contact Jasper, of course. Jasper provides your customers with a cost-effective alternative to purchasing a different vehicle. Quality remanufactured products from Jasper Engines and Transmissions carry a nationwide warranty with up to 3 years, 100,000 miles parts and labor coverage. Get your customers back on the road fast, as Jasper offers immediate availability through 2 distribution centers and a network of 45 branch locations nationwide. If a new vehicle is not in your customer's budget, and the engine or transmission in their car, truck, van, or SUV has given its last performance, a remanufactured drivetrain component from Jasper Engines and Transmissions will provide them with many years of trouble-free driving at a cost many times less than that of a new vehicle. For customer satisfaction, choose Jasper. I'm at CarFest here in San Antonio. We're doing a live Town Hall Academy. I'm with Mark Colaw from Seymours Garage. Put your hand up so everybody knows who you are, Mark. The founder of this event, Gary Pundt, Alamo Heights Garage, second-gen shop owner, and
for picking
Louie,
these two guys
Sirianni,
to come on
and chat with us about what's going on here. Where'd you get the idea of coming up with a barbecue and chili cook-off? I mean, was that just something to community? Okay, and the bands that you're going to
entertainment.
Yeah, the entertainment side of this thing. So, if I was in the community, and by the way, you were on TV this morning, I got up bright and early just to watch you, and so I want our service professional to realize that you've done all kinds of outreach through the media. You're going to actually have a TV show going on sometime.
We'll have a live TV show today at 1:00.
Today at 1:00
it's a behind the scenes preview of before we open, because we open a soft opening 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
And so it's inviting our community.
Wow. When people come up to you guys and you're in the pit and you're working on the car, what's the community ask you guys about what you're doing?
They're kind of entranced to watch us, what we're doing. And, sometimes you get the question of, why are you guys doing this?
Mm-hmm. Why? That is a big one.
It's more important not about what is that? Well, that's a clutch. Or what is that? Yeah. That's a rotor. It's why are you guys doing that?
It's surprising that people are shocked by
the outpouring.
Yeah. And you tell
them, shocked by it.
And you tell them, what you're doing on these cars, and they say, well, how much is it costing these people? It's like, it doesn't cost them anything. We're donating our time and services. We're doing it for free. And they just look dumbfounded. And I'm going to tell you what, Carm, the first year we did this, when it chokes me up just talking about it, man. When that lady rode a bus down here and won a free car. That's life changing.
Yeah.
While you're still choked up.
Yeah. Sorry.
Tell me what kind of car you've donated here.
So we have a 2010 Toyota Corolla that needed an engine, and we replaced the engine. We had a bit of a struggle getting that done this week, and finally got it done.
This week.
Finished it on Wednesday.
Wow.
And so,
wait a minute. You're typical. Wow. The last minute.
So
we got an engine, and CarFest is tomorrow. So let's go ahead and pop this thing in.
So let me back up a little bit. By course, my wife Darla, who was on the development team and the CFO.
Let's call her Backbone.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So she gave me instructions last week and said this car needs to be ready like last Wednesday. And I'm like, okay, honey, we got so much work to do. Let's get this done. I'll have it done by the end of the day Friday. So my tech started on it about 1:00 Friday afternoon. And man, he just jammed on that thing. I couldn't believe it. He got that motor out, swapped all the parts, put it back in, bolted it up to the transmission, rolled the engine around to bolt it up to the torque converter, and rolled it about 3/4 away, and the engine locked up.
Oh.
And that was the end of the day Friday. And so we're like, great. So we got another motor Tuesday morning, got delivered. And before we even took it off the pallet, we barred it over, and that thing, it had a big tight spot in it. And I called Scott back. I'm like, dude, I need another motor. So he got me another motor Wednesday, and we had that thing running Wednesday night.
Wow.
And, so then I had to detail the car.
Yeah.
So there's this little detail shop just down the road from me, and I took it down there, and I said, hey, man, I got this car. I need to have it detailed. Can you do it for me? And he goes, yeah, sure. And he goes, what is this? And I kind of told him a little bit about the event. And he goes, wait, so you're giving this car away? I said, yeah, it's a free car. He goes, I'll detail it for free. So
that's awesome.
He detailed it for free, and so it's sitting out there on the ground. It looks pretty good.
You're giving a couple things away. Mark?
I'm giving a couple cars away.
A few.
Tell me what you're giving away.
I'm giving away a Dodge truck, Dodge Ram that we just put a fresh Jasper engine in. And just to kind of clarify, we do used components and reman components.
Right.
Okay. So it wasn't a Jasper engine that had a problem.
No, it wasn't. It was a used
I just want to
engine.
make sure. So
thank you for that.
Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
One, it was two. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
Back to back.
Oh. And we're not going to talk about where we got that one, but they're great people.
They're great. For sure. They are great.
So anyway, I'm giving away a Dodge that will be part of our new driver program. And it has a fresh Jasper engine in it. And I've got an Acadia that we really want to promote, and it's an Acadia. It's a nice leather interior. It's very nice. It's a Acadia Denali or whatever. And we put an engine and a transmission from Jasper in there. And then we did some other things to the vehicle. And so that vehicle will have a full powertrain warranty of 3 years or 100,000 miles. And so whoever wins that vehicle isn't going to have to worry about that as long as they maintain it. And, if they stay around here long enough, they're going to learn how to maintain it, and they're going to know who to use. Use BG products. We've got the Jasper in there. They can walk around and see our vendors that are helping us to support this.
It's amazing to see the vendors, the names, the banners, the booths that they have, and again, let's try to create a visual for the service professional who's listening to this. It's not all about creating the pit and doing the repairs. The vendors that are out there, the suppliers, the parts manufacturers that have helped support this, they each get a booth. So as the consumers walk by, they're having a chance to promote their products. They may never buy their product one-on-one, but they understand the value that they have provided to CarFest to make this thing happen. And did I mention that the consumer pays nothing to get in here? Yeah. And they put a card and maybe in a drum to possibly win one of 10 vehicles every 2 hours? Do they have to be present to win?
They have to be present to win. But one of the other unique things about that, obviously, it is not a joke. It is not a raffle where you buy a ticket. It is free. It's free to get in here. You just fill out the card. You walk around to 6 areas where our vendors are, because we want you to see our vendors. We'll put them in the drum as you described, and then we'll roll that drum and pick it every 2 hours. Now, that drum that we picked, so 12 noon tomorrow when we do our first one. Yeah. When we're done with that drum gets emptied, and all those entries go into a box, and they never see a drum again. So it's a new drawing every 2 hours. So if somebody can't stay here all day, they just have to be here for a couple hours.
So, and do they know that when they fill out that card that this is it's a timely thing?
Yes.
Listen, within 2 hours, if you stick around and your name comes out, you've got to be present to win.
They know.
You may win a piece of hardware. And all of those vehicles are on display in this building. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about that. That's why it needs to be 200,000 feet. Yeah.
You said you wanted to create a visual, but the only thing I can say is it's bigger than you think.
That's right.
You walk in and you expect to see a trade show, or some people expect to see a car show. We say we have a kids corner and we're repairing cars under roof. All of this is under roof. Yep. In AC. It's pretty cold in here now, but we have retail vendors, wholesale vendors, and you walk in and the first reaction out of everybody, my guys that come in or family that comes and sees it or whatever, is this is bigger than I thought it was. Mm-hmm. And it truly is. When you drive up, it's bigger. The scope is bigger. The banners that we hang outside are bigger. It's not, 3x9 banners. These things are huge that these vendors are getting. And, one of the things you mentioned that, shop owners would probably catch is the wholesale vendors that are here. They're obviously here, and they're the ones that support our event, and they do get booths. They also get a chance to mingle with the 25 repair shops. We really have realistically probably 40 or 50 repair shops represented here, but they're volunteering through the rest.
I'm going to jump in there.
More?
It'll be way over 100. It was 300 last year.
Oh, well then.
So we're just going to be conservative, but it'll be way over 100.
Yeah.
Because of the training that we have. Yeah. Because we have professional training,
we had a huge
which brings other shops down here. And then you have shops that are volunteering on other committees, that aren't fixing cars.
But the shop owners would see, what are the wholesale vendors? You get Timken Bearings or somebody out here that, say, what are they going to say to the public? Well, we've got a whole retail area for the public as well. And the wholesalers are here for us to see us and talk to us and be there at one of the biggest events. Well, obviously in the U.S., but definitely in our area. And then we've got a whole retail set up for the folks that come through. And last year we didn't mention it, but we had 12,000 people walk through our doors just to see what we're doing here. It's awesome,
man. Right next to the AT&T Center, too.
Right where the Spurs play.
Wow. How cool is that? Hey, we were talking about Jasper here just a moment ago, weren't we? They got a big booth here. I saw Ken here and a couple of, you're talking about regional vice presidents coming here. Mm-hmm. Man, you got clout, man.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that what we've got is we've got great minds and hearts, and not just in this area, but across the nation that are supporting us. And Jasper is our presenting sponsor. So they're our top sponsor. And BG is right in there with them, and Snap-on Tools.
Cool. Let's go to the education side of this. I'm big in post-secondary. I get on my soapbox an awful lot about how in the whole industry? How are we going to look for our kids to come on in, and how are we going to get involved as a group of independents in post-secondary? Talk about being impressed with the monies that CarFest ultimately ends up giving. Give us the overview.
Okay, so we have 8 campuses of 5 different schools here. We have, and so 4 of them basically are in Bexar County, which is the Metroplex of San Antonio. And then we have 1 from Houston. And then we have 1 from Waco, 1 from Sweetwater, 1 from Harlingen. So, the idea is to have the core and then also to reach out, because at some point this template will be done and we'll be able to pass it to other communities so they can expand their community. As far as the financial benefit, what they get is they get over $80,000 in cash, but it's close to $100,000 with product. Now, we're modifying that a little bit right now, but we like to just say that it's almost $100,000 in cash, and we give that directly to those campuses for their automotive technology program. And we don't direct those funds beyond that. We only direct them to the automotive technologies, and we trust those professionals to be able to do what's right with that money.
What have you heard they've used the money for?
We've heard more about extending education, but also launching to employment. So, example, at our last meeting, TSTC out of Waco, they came down, they had some declarations and proclamations from the state of Texas recognizing our guys and gals, okay, for what we had done. And because that particular entity has now received about $150,000, and what they've done is they've leveraged that into more money. In fact, all of them are learning to do that.
Sure.
And so they gave, I think there were 10 scholarships. 10 scholarships for that year. And I don't remember what the denomination was, but I don't think it was anything.
I love to hear that it's scholarships. I mean, they could buy tools and equipment.
Well, and they've done that too. We've had the local one here, St. Philip's.
Yeah.
And what they did was they took that money and leveraged it so that these guys would have launching pads with their startup tools. Once they finished their education, then they got to the employment and they had their startup box.
I think they said they almost doubled their money
the first year
by requesting a discount from the supplier and use that funds for these. And so they got double the amount of roll around tool carts full of tools that maybe a retail would have been able to purchase. So I thought that was pretty impressive.
And that's what we're really excited about too, because now what's happening is we're having deeper discussions with Snap-on and some other folks about how we can get to the corporate level and they can support the local franchises, because we can't expect the franchises to give all that because those guys make their living there.
Right,
okay.
Right.
They can contribute some, but not in a mass. But we are extending the education and connecting the conduit, I like to say, from employment to education, because so many people come out of the conduit of education and they fall because there's no coupler there.
Right.
Kind of look at it like fluid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's no coupler there. And then they end up getting a job somewhere because they just didn't feel like they were worth going to get employed. So we're trying to connect that.
There's too much fallout, period.
There is too much fallout.
We all know that if we're involved with education, we know that there's too much fallout. And not only after they go out and they get employed, because there's no mentoring program, there's no career path showed for them, they're not making it past the first year for many, many reasons. We're not ready to go there, but thanks for bringing that up. I think it's important to know.
Can I give you a spark that we thought about that hasn't hit the plate yet?
Okay.
But it's one of those in the
incubator or boiler?
Incubator for sure. But we thought it was a boiler last year, but it was an incubator. We wanted to create some type of an NFL draft situation for the kids coming out of college and the shop owners that are here, and tie it in with the kids that were active through CarFest and all this, and really have a very nice event where the families of the kids that are coming out of college can come. We'd treat them to dinner. The shop owners would get together. It would be a prearranged deal because they would have been hired already, but have a celebration of the fact that they're coming out of college and into the workforce. This is the kind of ideas, these little sparks that either get ignited or get put in the incubator, but there's some truly dynamic thinking behind this event that's led us this far so far.
It's a hell of an idea.
You like it?
The minute you said NFL draft, I was thinking signing bonus.
Well,
I was thinking here comes the shirt and everything.
The shirt, the uniform, where the shop owner takes some pride in it and puts their name on it. However, I mean, now your brain just starts spinning. It happens every time this group gets together.
And I want to share that. I want to extend on that for just a minute, because we really are talking about having these guys come at a certain level, and they will come in and we will have 25 shop owners that will interview them, and they will get hired there. So it's not that they're going to be hired ahead of time is what we're thinking.
I get it.
But it is in the incubator.
I love it.
We think we need about 2 more years. That's a 21 item.
Well, we stole a great idea from the incubator.
I hope I didn't let it cat out of the bag.
No, not at all. This
It'd
is
be great
unity
for
in the
somebody else
community.
to perfect it and then give it to us.
Yeah,
and say,
we'll
"All
take
right,
that.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Somebody that'll save us a little time.
So the new driver idea, I'm fascinated by that. You took me to the new driver stage earlier in one of the off buildings. That's not the 200,000, is it?
No, that's part of the 200.
That's part of the 200,000.
There's 200,000 under the roof that we're
Okay,
in.
this one particular roof. So explain how'd that come out, and why are we doing that?
Well, our original idea was we wanted to reach out to insurance companies again, unity in the community, but we also have to get people to help us facilitate this. You've seen the expense, excuse me, of what we have out there, and we have a marketing girl that we don't have any paid employees, but we have a marketing girl that helps us. Great lady, and she sits every week there with us. And so I bounced that idea, and she just took it and ran with it. And so what we're doing is we're looking for the sustainability that we were talking about earlier. This way, we will have a new group every year of kids that are coming in, because there's an age group in which they come in. I think it's 14 to 17. And so we will always be putting new people in the pipeline to expose them to our event. Okay. And then what will happen is they will have a workshop, and there's 100 of them. It's limited to 100 kids.
But where do these 100 kids come from? Just coming
High
in with their
schools.
parents?
High schools.
Oh, they've been recruited out of high
We're soliciting the high schools.
I got it.
So now it gets
this
us
is
a
on
portal.
purpose. This just doesn't happen happenstance. It's on purpose.
This is
I love that. It's even
very
better.
strategic. It's a portal to the high schools.
Okay.
And so as we develop that portal to the high schools, it will help us when we enter the high schools in a mass for the technician piece of it. Because right now it's difficult to do that because they need to focus on that. We're not as interested in getting the high school. We want the high school kids involved, but right now they really just need awareness. And so it's prepping that group and including more than just the ones that have an inkling to work on a car or have something to do with the automotive industry. And so hopefully you will get your parents that will come down here, and they will look at the trade schools that are on display out here. They have booths, talk to them and have conversations. So everything we do is strategic.
Think about it, everyone. We've talked so long about getting to the parent, getting, to the young, I want to work with my hands student who's being interrupted by the superintendent and the principal and the guidance counselors to do other things. And you bring them to an event like this, and they go up, for example, you look at a Jasper engine or transmission, and you look at all these cool products that are on display, and you say, ooh, it just could spark them. Just a spark of interest and move them in a different direction.
Did we talk about how we're drawing the kids? Did we? I was listening the entire time, but I didn't hear it.
No, go.
We give away 10 free cars every year. That's 1 car every 2 hours, 2 at the end of each day. We give away 2 other cars to the volunteers, 1 per day, because they're not allowed to enter the free car drawing. So that's a total of 12 cars that we're giving away this year. Actually, there's 13. The 13th is going to the new driver program.
Whoa.
So a new driver is going to walk away from here with a car. And so now we've got something really attractive to bring these kids in and see everything that we're doing, and it ties into everything.
And look at the odds.
It just keeps getting
1 in
better.
100.
It keeps getting better.
Look at the odds. 1 in 100
is going to win that
1 in
car.
100.
That's what they are.
And so the reason, this big beautiful stage, you're going to show them a video. And
well, no, there's a couple other things. What's going to happen is they're going to be in a workshop element. We have one of the instructors from one of the schools here locally, one of the trade schools here locally, that is going to walk these 100 kids through workshops. And there'll be 3 different days or 3 different sessions of workshops, 2 tomorrow on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. At 5 o'clock, right before the close of the event, is when all the people that participated in the workshop and finished the workshop will get their name dropped in a hat, in a barrel again, and then we will roll that barrel. And so one of whoever's in there, up to 100, will win that vehicle. Now, the parents will get the vehicle. We won't go into the weeds on all that.
Present to win?
Yeah.
Present to win, most definitely.
And it's engagement. It's a hook to be here for both. If
the age group is ever rotating. We've got a constant hook on a certain age group with their parents. Wow. And this was something that just blows my mind, because we've been going for 3 years now, and this is our three events now, and this is our fourth event. And this one little piece, I think, is going to be one of the biggest pieces for our sustainability in the future.
I agree.
It's just an ongoing demographic.
I agree. And by having those young people here, having a chance to see the education booths that are here, I mean, it's like a CarFest.
Wow.
He's got it, folks.
Yep.
Man.
It's not a car show, though.
That's right.
That's the one thing we haven't said either, is a lot of folks really do think it's a car show. And sure, we do have a car show, but it's in that back corner over there where the rest of it's over here. It's a gorgeous car show, and it's bigger than anything I've seen, you know.
We actually put on some of our, we actually put on some of our digital signs. I didn't tell you guys, but we made a little change, and we put, it's more than a car show.
It is. Oh, that's perfect.
So that's one of the lines we're practicing. It's more than a car show. And it's not just a car show. Yeah. So we're playing with those two taglines because it isn't a car show. It's a car show off. You know, you can come show your car off, but just like we want the vendors to show their products off, we want the technicians to show their skills off. So it's more of a show off.
Mm-hmm. We want the barbecue guys to show their barbecue off.
You know, some of the marketing material that you guys have created, and one of the things I love about what it says here, it says, watch the pros. Mm-hmm. And it basically, you know, talks about what's going on in the free cars and all the chili cook-off, the barbecue, kids corners, food and entertainment, how-to workshops. So all the professionals that are going to be here and hanging out are going to have a chance to get some of their own type of training.
You bet. There's lots of training going on last year because we all know in the industry that last year we had to get our YF 12334.
Yeah, YF.
And we all had to get our recertification.
Yeah.
We're in April, right before the heat of the season here, and all the guys woke up and realized they didn't have it. And we were kind of ahead of the curve on that and said, well, you know what? Everybody does that at the last minute. So we had one of our local vendors, Carlisle AC, actually came and they gave 2 days or 3 days of classes, I think.
Yeah. I think they did have one on Friday last year.
And so
609 training. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. 609, yes.
Yeah.
So we had 300 shops come through.
Wow.
For that.
I said 100. I thought it was 100. I didn't know it was 300.
It was 300.
See, everything
Louie,
is
your
bigger.
numbers. No, Louie, your
everything
numbers.
is bigger. I just need to exaggerate because I'm undershooting what we're actually doing.
You know this is Texas, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I just want to make sure.
Next time you think of a number, times 3.
Times 3. It's the truth too.
But I've got a brochure of, again, the marketing pieces are done so well. You've got a shop owner workshop, fixing dysfunctional courtesy check processes, charge what you are worth. Sounds familiar. We did a show on that.
We did.
And automating the automotive aftermarket. Delphi is here with advanced AC. In fact, my friend Dave Hobbs is going to be here doing some training. So, and you've got it all scheduled out. Now, do the shop owners and technicians that know that they can come here, are they coming here just for this training?
I can't answer that. There's so much going on.
Right.
There's some training that has been they've signed up, they pre-registered for.
Okay.
But I can't answer that honestly. I mean, at some point we see it like that. We know last year it happened that way. Mm-hmm. You know.
So, what else should I know, guys?
I'm in charge of the committee that does the Boy Scout automotive maintenance merit badge.
Oh, the badges, yes.
Mm-hmm. And so that's the much younger kids, but it's a way to bring them out, and their parents are all blown away when they come in, and the kids. I have a crew that teaches them the automotive maintenance merit badge, and we feed them. And then afterwards, there's certain requirements you have to do. So they'll do cleaning the cars. We have an automotive detailer that's volunteered his time 2 years in a row now and shows them professionally how to clean the car, wax and all that. And then the other one is how to change a tire for these kids. And you ought to see it because last year we had one that the lug nuts were my demo car, and the lug nuts were too tight. So the kids are standing on this thing, and then the shop owners are standing on it. So I fixed that this year. But anyway, they teach them how with the tools that are provided and where the tools are located on the vehicles. And I think that's something that is very important for anybody to know, at least, is where your spare tire toolkit is. But the Boy Scouts is a big deal. And we have Friday Night Lights, Friday Night Drive-In. We've got a movie for the kids. there really is a heavy focus on the kids, even the younger kids that have no interest in cars. We've got a whole area that, if you haven't seen, it's a giant area for kids' activities.
I have.
And
in fact, you even have these little cars, kid cars, and you're going to have a little racetrack for them, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
And we're going to give those cars out too.
those are given
We're
away.
going to give them away Sunday.
And those cars are,
They're sponsored. So the idea on that, ideally, and for next year especially, is you get, let's say, one that looks like a Ford or is a Ford, has the Ford emblem on it, and then you find a Ford dealer to sponsor that vehicle. And now you've got the dealerships on their way into CarFest, which has been a tough nut to crack, getting them here properly. And so you get them on a set of Power Wheels, and they'll put their name all over it. And so it's another way to, and then the kids have these races all day long, or the little driving course and everything.
well, there are so many ideas that have been passed here. And there's no doubt that if you want to take any community, your community involvement, anywhere in the country to the next level, you can take just one of these ideas.
Anyone.
And even, and try to pull it off. One of the things that I've been asking Mark, now for a year, is when can you put this thing in a box and license all of these ideas? And I know that is something that you wish, that you'd love to do, being able to say, guys, here's the 500-page report. If you'd love to do this section, here's who you have to talk to. Here's how you have to make it work. And you can start small. You can start 5,000 square feet. Start 200,000. But what a way to involve the automotive aftermarket and community. It is. You don't have to have it at your shop. You can involve the people in your groups, in your business development groups, in your peer groups, in your community, and pull them together and find guys that are willing to sit on a committee, right, Gary? Right. And just say, hey, I'll do this and I'll do this. And you have one, right? What was the first one like?
Well, let me speak to that for a minute. So we did the first one and had the intentions of doing it there forever in our Coliseum that was built in 1949. So you can go back and think about that. It wasn't a huge space, but it was a Coliseum. So the footprint was probably 15,000 foot on the floor, 15 or 20,000 foot on the floor. And the idea was to close that Coliseum down so it didn't look like something huge so we could expand. Well, the good thing is we had to, before the event even started, we had to leave that Coliseum and get an adjacent building. We grew from there, and then we came back into here.
You had mentioned it doesn't have to be at your shop.
Yeah.
I know going back further than even that, the one of the very first rounds that Gary was a part of, on an event similar to this, because I spoke to a lot of shops at the ATI Super Conference. Yeah. And they, to a person, you can tell good shops when you're with them. And to a person, they said, we do something like that, like this. And, we've given away a car to a veterans group, or we've fixed cars.
Excellent.
We've done it. I mean, there's a lot of really good shop owners.
Battered women's shelter or whatever.
But we did an event for the battered women's shelter in which we, teed up with the local St. Philip's College and asked them if we could use their facility, and they cleaned out the cars in the facility. They had 14 bays, I think, or something. And they cleaned out the basement, and they had lifts and everything, and we brought shops there. And that was a good neutral site, especially because we chose the battered women's shelter because they needed a safe place to go to, and they couldn't go to just somebody's shop without some kind of background deal. And, anyway, so the school was a very neutral place to meet, and you can do it as easy as that. Start contacting your school and talk about getting in with that. Then you say, we're going to have it on a Friday or Saturday. You get the kids involved, you get 5 or 6 shops involved, and work on 4 cars and start there and grow.
So another strategic point to that is, or another point on where we're strategic and everything is that neutrality, or that neutral that you're talking about is, and then what we opened with, talking about what Gary said, and I echo all the time, and that is, we don't have competition, but we want to make it comfortable. Right. We want to make it inviting. So having that neutral spot. So we're not
playing on anybody's home field.
Right. And that's really important. And these guys on those cars, all those bays, these guys right here and the other 23 guys out there, what they did was they checked those cars at their home, at their shop first. And they decided what it needed, and then we started sourcing the parts. And then they bring, the parts will be here, the car will be here, they'll fix it here, and then that car is going to go back 7 to 10 days after the event for a follow-up check. So that's how strategic and in the weeds we do get.
It's huge. It's important. Huge. You've thought of everything. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know. We never want to say that.
I've learned that
It's just
after
like
being with this group.
It's just like being in business. You know, when somebody says, "Well, you're always busy," so I'm never busy enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we've thought of everything.
So the answer is just do something.
Something.
Get involved in your community, be it at your own place, with a nonprofit. Help them out. I love the veteran hook. To me, is huge today.
Yeah.
It's just huge.
It actually was bigger than when I was speaking with everybody. It was that was much more prevalent than any other organization. As I teed in with a veteran organization and Wounded Warriors or whatever, and so that was pretty cool to hear.
Well, good for you. Hey, thanks for being here. We're here at CarFest Unity in the Community, an incredible event going on here in San Antonio this weekend. I'm with Mark Colaw. I was with Mark Colaw, Seymours Garage, Gary Pundt from Alamo Heights Garage, and Louie Sirianni from Sirianni Automotive. Thanks, guys, for sharing a lot of great insights on CarFest.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time.